ever wake up, open your Instagram, and feel completely over your own content? Like you've become a broken record for your own business? What if feeling bored with your brand is actually a sign of growth and not failure? In this episode, we'll unpack why brand boredom happens and how to refresh your content strategy without ghosting your audience or burning it all down.
I feel this in my bones. In my bones. Candace, and I love that we're talking about this because this was a topic, Clever Crew, we'll give you a peek behind the curtain. This was a topic that our producer, Corinne, put forth as an option for us to record on. And you know us, like if we're not feeling it, we don't record. If the topic is not in our lane, if it doesn't light us up, we don't do it. Well, this one, guys, we both felt. And I think it's good that we're having this conversation because while we don't want you to like ruminate or fixate or be negative on it, I think naming what you're going through so that you can have clarity on what you're feeling and then a plan forward is super helpful instead of just pretending like everything's okay and you're still hitting the publish button just for the sake of hitting the publish button, right?
Yep. So I've definitely heard my clients say things like, I'm just tired of myself. I just keep saying the same thing over and over again. Um, what else do I say about this topic? Whatever it is that they teach on, they're like, what else can I say? What new angle can I take? Because they feel like they've said it all already.
Here's a truth or a reframe that's really helpful. Your audience, your followers, your email subscribers are not nearly as tired of your content as you are. You're just overexposed. And I think there's actually a bias in psychology. It's called spotlight bias, where you think everybody's looking at you and picking you apart and be like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired of hearing them and this and that. It's not real. It's not real. You're just overexposed to you and you're zeroing in on that. So I think part of that is really freeing because then you know you're not the only one that does it. Like you're not the problem. And I think a question that our clever crew might have is how do you know the difference between being bored of your content and genuinely needing to pivot in your content?
Well, I am so glad that you asked, Kat, because you know me, I love a great framework.
You do.
And so, I came up with 4 things to help the clever crew through a moment like this. So, number one, this is you first want to get clarity. So, I call this the mirror test. Does your message still reflect who you are and where you're going?
Mm.
You have to ask yourself that because maybe you've grown. Maybe you have new information, new goals. Maybe your audience has shifted because now have a lot more experience and you're working with people who have more experience as well.
Right.
So if those things are true, then you might need to make some changes. You might be uninspired because it's your message is outdated or you've just outgrown that level. So I'll give you an example for my own brand. I used to work with people who were new real estate agents who were trying to make their first $100,000 in real estate. Now I'm not working with agents at that level anymore. And so people at the level that I'm now working at have different problems than a brand new agent would have. So I'm not talking about the same types of experiences that a new agent would have because that's not who I work with anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And things have shifted over the last 6 years of doing this, right? So if you're feeling like it's the message you're sharing no longer matches your current level of experience or where you're going, that's a little bit of a red flag.
A sign, yeah, to pay attention to. No red flags here. We love you, clever crew. But there are yellow flags where we need to pay attention and adjust.
Second thing is an audience check. Basically, is this still relevant? And the way you're going to know that is how people are engaging. Are you getting those DMs? Are people liking your stories? Are they commenting? I know commenting is happening different lately, so you can't put so much weight on commenting, but are people sharing your content? Are they saving your content? Are they asking you to speak at their next event because the type of content you're creating? So I want you to look for those signs that might not be likes and might not be comments
Or views.
or views. Yeah, you're absolutely right. But it might be like you walking into an office somewhere, you meeting someone for lunch and them saying, "Oh, this video you made about that really resonated with me," or "Oh, you seem like you're everywhere." If you're hearing people talk about you and connecting with that message still, or asking you about it in real life, or sending you DMs, all those things count. But you're right, it might not be views.
Yep.
Then it's the energy audit. Are you aligned? How do you feel when you talk about what you do? Because one of our rules at Not Nice Clever is we don't record if we're not feeling it, because we only want good vibes here. So you're never going to hear an episode that is like, we were forced to record it, we felt pressured to do it. We'll be like, we'll record tomorrow when the energy is right, the vibe is right, we are feeling like our best selves.
We did that right before we hopped on. Guys, we intended when we hopped on, we were going to record 2 full-length episodes today, and we said, "You know what? Let's do 1 full length today and 1 full length on Thursday." Easy.
Because we want the vibes to be high and right. We want to be fully present when we're recording our podcast for you. And so if your vibe is feeling off, if what you're talking about doesn't feel like what you're passionate about anymore,
Mhm.
yellow flag. It also might be the format of what you're doing.
Very true.
So one thing Kat talks about a lot is like she doesn't like short form content. She wants
Yep.
to go deep. She wants long form content. She loves her podcast. She likes a YouTube video, but not necessarily in love with short form content, which is
Mhm.
fine. She knows that, and she can focus on the content that she wants to share, that she's excited to share, because you don't have to do everything.
Yep. It's what we have said before, and it bears repeating. Everybody's success is because, yes, they picked up some knowledge, they picked up a nugget, maybe they're working with a coach, right? Like Candace or I or whomever it might be, or a consultant, but it's also because they found a way to adapt to their strengths and what they're interested in. And that joy and that excitement, people buy into that. Enthusiasm sells. So it's not the framework, it's the you behind, you're powering the framework. The framework itself is not the sole reason for success. And I know, like, some of our more tactical crew members, or people who just want that specific thing, that magic pill, energy audit might feel a little weird, but energy is physics. It is felt. You guys can feel it when you hear us speak on these episodes. Don't discount it just because you can't quantifiably measure it on paper.
I don't know if this is an aside or if this is related, but I recently went to an event. I will not name the event.
Boy.
And a woman spoke at the event. And on paper, she did exactly what you're supposed to do to engage an audience. She had a strong hook. She told a story. She shared a framework. She revisited the hook in the end to bring you back around. Okay, she did all the things that a good speaker
Hmm.
is supposed to do. But it looked like she went to a school for TEDx speakers. They wrote her a script. She memorized the script and she delivered it, but it fell so short. The audience was like, meh. And I was watching and thinking, this is the part where everyone's supposed to get hyped and excited. She's saying the right words, but it was so forced. It
Yep.
was so scripted that the connection just wasn't there. I was like, this is where everyone's supposed to clap. This is where everyone's supposed to say hell yeah. And I knew every moment that that was supposed to happen. It just didn't. And then a different speaker came up
Hmm.
and was maybe less practiced, but so excited, so passionate, still with great information that people were taking notes. People were asking questions after. People were lined up to talk to them. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's so much to the fact that your energy matters. And even if you think what you're doing is textbook perfect, this is exactly what you're supposed to do. If you're feeling unaligned,
Hmm.
it's going to show.
Yeah. If the textbooks were all you needed, again, not shading textbooks, not shading frameworks. I love education. That's one of my core values is education and knowledge. But if school taught you everything, if taking your real estate license or your lender license taught you everything, you wouldn't need all of the other support that you lean into,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So, oof. Okay, what's the last facet?
So,
Mm,
are you making an impact? If your work is still creating transformation in the client that you're trying to create transformation in, if that's a yes, then you probably are still on the right path. Stay the course. This is just a you thing. This is where you revisit how you show up, revisit the format of how you show up
right.
to help yourself, right? But this is not that your message needs an overhaul.
Mhm.
And if you know that you don't have those proof points and you're not making an impact recently, then that's the yellow flag. This is where you should start thinking about evolving your message and evolving the brand potentially.
Mhm. I mean, if you are an entrepreneur, I guarantee you, you have evolved in 6 months what usually takes somebody else 6 years to reach. So that's why, as annoying as it is, boredom is a signal, right? You have outgrown the message or the audience, or you've
Or the
lost touch with
format.
the energy, right? Or the format
Yeah.
of it.
Hmm.
And it's so funny. Well, I don't know how this analogy is going to go over, but I'll share it just for my own experience, right? Like when we outgrow a pair of jeans, or when we have that like tried and true jacket in our closet, or that blouse that we used to love so much and wear all the time. I had a blouse like that. But then now when you look at it in your closet and you're just like, "Meh, I'm just going to leave it there because I used to wear it all the time and I'm totally going to wear it again." But then you do the backwards hanger tick like method, right?
Yeah.
And if you
Yep.
haven't worn it in 6 months, you are never going to wear it again. Just let it go. Like, let that blouse go, let that blazer go. I had to let go of a very particular blouse that I used to love, but it just no longer serves you. And that's the same thing here. I
Yeah.
was
And you could
in
say
jeans and
thank
I
you
love
and
them
let it
forever.
go, but
Yeah.
also, but reminder that it might not need to be thrown out. It might just need to be styled differently
Or tailored. Yep.
or tailored. Yep.
There we go. There we go.
So the four. First, you're going to do the mirror test. You want to gain clarity. Then you're going to do the audience check. Make sure that your message is still relevant. You're going to do the energy audit. Is this still aligned? And then the proof point, am I still making an impact? If any of
Love
those
that.
are no, then you can give yourself a yellow flag. Maybe some things need adjusting.
Yep.
And it's okay. That's okay. That's normal. It's a part of the process.
Oh, it is. And this is coming from two people who have a lot of transformational Scorpio esque energy in both of our charts. And we transform often in our businesses. Candace and I talk often about our past lives, right? There's nothing wrong or unallowed or dangerous about transforming or evolving or changing your mind. The danger is actually staying where you are, and what comfort and familiarity is going to cost you decades from now versus temporary pain of maybe losing a few audience members, or maybe having people think, who does Candace think she is calling herself this now? I remember when insert somebody's former perception of,
I heard that recently.
no
Yeah.
way. Who said that? You DM me their name.
About me to someone else and got back to me, but it's fine.
I want the name.
They haven't been around for the last 4 years, so they wouldn't know
I guess that's fair.
what I'm capable of now, you know?
Okay, I'll back off my bestie.
But also shut the fuck up.
Yes, there we go. There we go. So here's the thing that I think will be helpful, right? And I'm like whipping up this framework out of my butt because honestly, I have felt bored and kind of stale in my content, and I am in this process now. So we talk about, and the importance of consistency, but how do you maintain consistency while also kind of maybe reinventing or refreshing whatever it is that you want to do if you found that a format needs to be changed or an audience positioning needs to be changed. So the way that I would see it is think about, having a core, like a core set of your content, right? If you have a signature series or if you do a certain type of content, right? Things that you're always known for. Like I'm really known for my weekly email newsletter, right? That gets me business, that keeps me top of mind out of the social feeds, directly in people's inboxes. I love it. And then just think about experimenting with one type of content like once a week and tell people you're experimenting too, because I see creators do this. Stephen Bartlett, who's the host of the Diary of a CEO podcast. By the way, guys, I will be on that podcast one day. Candace and I will both be on that
There you
podcast. I don't
go.
know,
Let's
Candace, do
do
you want
it.
to come along for a ride?
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
perfect. Love it. Hi, Stephen. I can't wait to look back on this video when we get the privilege of pouring into your community on that podcast. But he himself, and he has millions of followers, millions of followers. And I noticed him starting to change how he was promoting his episodes from the typical trailer style reel to the carousel that almost looks like a storyboard, right? And at the very last slide, he says, "Hey, did you enjoy this new type of content? If you want to see more of it, let me know in the comments." He's literally telling you he's experimenting with a new type of content. And I went to the comments just to see if there were any, little trolls that sounded off. None of
What
them.
people are saying, yeah.
Right. They loved it. They were like, "Yes, I love this. Makes it easy to follow. More of this." You
And
know,
even if they said no, though, that's the thing, right? They could say no.
they
They're
could.
like, actually, I missed the trailers. Okay,
That's data.
fine.
You need the
There's
data.
nothing wrong
Right.
with that. You ask for feedback, you get the feedback, and then you take the data and make the adjustment.
That's it. So, like, if you're
That's
thinking
it.
about, just experiment with one type and tell people that you're doing it. Hey, the world is changing. Platforms are changing. I want to make sure I'm still connecting and giving you relevant information. Do you like this way of presenting information? Right? That's a very clinical way of saying it, but you get the vibe.
So I heard this recently, and I don't remember who said it, but I didn't make it up. But just build in public.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, well, Neil
that's
said that.
the name of the game. It's
Yeah.
Neil. Okay. Build in public. So whatever you are doing, it's okay to tell people, I'm experimenting, I'm trying a new thing. What would you like to see? Like I was on my Instagram story last week saying, hey, who do you want to see on Not Nice Clever next? And by the way, if you want to suggest someone, let us know. You can DM Kat or I, DM Not Nice Clever. You can email us. We want to know who you want to see. And I'm involving the Clever crew in creating our next piece of content. Why not?
Yeah. The best content, and I'm defining best as in the one that gets the most amount of conversations, that makes me the most joyous, that seems to, based on feedback, be the most well received, is literally content that people are dying for and asking for, and that I am best positioned to serve them. Like that's it. It's just give the people what they want as long as you enjoy sharing that. It's within your expertise. So maybe it's pushing you out of your comfort zone a little bit, but even better, I love the idea of building in public because it helps build your resilience muscle and your feedback muscle. Whereas if you just like scroll away all of your genius ideas, but they're never battle tested, online, are they even really just more than ideas? I feel like that might be a TED talk one day, but not of that silly format that you mentioned earlier. I will call me on my shit if I follow that format.
I was on with a client today, and for 6 months, a year, I don't know, for a long time, I've been telling them YouTube is where it's at. In their specific market, there's no real estate agent on YouTube yet. Okay, perfect. Except been pushing it off because, oh, we don't have time, we don't have the perfect this, that, whatever. There's always, yes, all the things. Okay. So I was like, you know what, literally just sit at your desk. You don't even have to go anywhere. You don't have to have someone follow you. Sit at your desk and make YouTube videos. And we could pop up some pictures if we need to and just get it started. We'll get better as, time goes on. And never got around to it. They're amazing clients, did a lot of other things. So it's okay. Except, guess what pissed them off last week?
Somebody started.
Somebody started. They only have 17 videos and over 1,000 subscribers because no one is making content in that market yet. And 17 videos with 1,000 subscribers is like a
That's nothing to
cool
shirk
place
at.
to start.
It
No,
is.
over 1,000. Yeah. And so now there's a fire under their ass because they know there's at least some competition, which actually is probably going to be healthy for them and really make them,
Right. Well, they can learn
yeah,
what they have
get themselves
done.
out there.
Yeah, iterate,
Right.
adapt it, make sure it's on brand, all that.
Yep. But the point is sometimes you need to just start.
Yes. And so you can get to the boredom plateau that we are talking about and be able to do the thing again. Like I'm considering, like you mentioned, Candace, I love long form content. I love a good story. I'm very verbose. It's how I connect with people. And I'm even thinking, like I brought on an intern at Brand Architect a couple weeks ago and having him on board with fresh eyes to look at my content. He's going through my Dropbox archives and saying, well, we can do this and we can do this. And I was like, I never would have thought of that, and it's something that I've been saying since the beginning of 2025. Now we're in the first week of Q4 here in 2025. You do not need to do more of more. You need to do less of more. I had heard Ryan, I don't know if he wants me to share this, but like he talked about how Instagram legit told him that if you share more stories, it'll be shown to less people. And he was like, "Oh, challenge accepted." You know how Ryan is.
You you know what's so interesting? So that was definitely a thing, but Adam Mosseri just came out last week and said they're no longer gonna penalize you for sharing more stories. Because before it was like they only wanted you to share, I can't remember if it was like one or three, something small. And then your like views were gonna go down after that. So a lot of people were doing the 24-hour rule where they just share a story every 24 hours so they can like keep their highest numbers. Anyhow, he just came out with a video that said that's not a thing anymore. So Ryan can rest assured that that's going away.
We'll be sure to send him this episode after it airs so that he can have I know
Yeah.
he's waiting with bated breath for to dispel that now myth. Thank you, Adam.
But Instagram is kind of getting savage with its messages because one of my friends screenshotted a message that said like this reel got 75% less viewership than your typical reel or something like that. And like just straight out
They're
said,
desperate for people to stay on, aren't they? That's what that tells me. When I
it's
see
like do
messages,
better, get better.
right. Oh, Instagram. Oh, Instagram. Okay. A parting thought, right, that I want to leave people with. And Candace and I are both introverts. We love a good Irish exit. I definitely Irish exited at Sell at 25 last month, y'all, with love, but I did. You don't want to see me when I'm not keeping my boundaries tight, right? It's where the bad twin comes out. Okay, so as much as we love that, don't do that to your content here. Don't throw away the last year of commitment, the last 6 years of commitment Candace has made, the last 4 years of commitment that I have made because you're in a rut. Feelings are not facts. And if you're feeling bored, if you're feeling like you're in a rut, use the framework Candace shared. Know that one down day or so, and then you comparisonning yourself to everybody you see when you doom scroll, it doesn't undo all the work you've already done. It's just the next ceiling or plateau that you get to break through.
Thanks for joining us on Not Nice, Clever.
Remember to follow Not Nice Clever wherever you listen to audio.
And if you haven't already, drop that 5-star review.
Share your takeaways, tell us your story. We love to hear it.
Signing off, you're not so nice, but oh so clever besties that mean business.
See you soon.